I have been thinking about starting a YouTube channel for about 6 months. So tonight, while we're actually currently in Japan and having an earthquake right now with a tsunami warning attached, I guess there's some people out there who may be interested in that. So in which case, welcome to my channel. Let's talk about earthquakes. It's kind of a weird sensation when an earthquake strikes you. You obviously, first of all, you have that very loud, audible alarm tone that rings and wakes you from your sleep in a terrifying realization that you've got a few moments before an earthquake hits, depending on its distance from the epicenter. Then once you kind of get a feel for the earthquake coming in, you have that eerie swaying, groaning, moaning, maybe a few shelves and doors knocking and banging in your apartment. It just feels like the movement there is just a kind of uneasy feeling throughout your body. I've always said that the earthquake, the feeling of an earthquake doesn't really bother me, because you understand that statistically you're quite safe in reality in Japan. Even with the huge earthquakes, they haven't caused such high numbers of fatalities as the recent tsunamis have. And the houses here are built pretty well, and people are pretty aware of what to do in the situation of a big earthquake. So statistically, it's not as dangerous as some of the other natural disasters that they suffer from. The houses aren't generally built of stone, they're built of wood, which is quite flexible and can take and absorb a lot of that vibrational force. So the houses don't usually fall over. They're tall skyscrapers, although I'm sure quite terrifying if you're at the top of one and it's swaying left and right. There's a lot of videos on YouTube where you can see people filming from the top of Tokyo skyscrapers. And I'm sure if you're at the top of the Tokyo Skytree, it would be absolutely terrifying. However, they build them very strongly. They test very well. Most of the buildings after 1982 built in Japan were built to very strong laws and standards and building codes, and they're made to withstand very strong earthquake tremors. So if you have a building that was built after 1982, likelihood is it will be able to withstand the earthquake vibrations. But it does still make everybody feel a little uncomfortable. Oddly, you can have this thing called a phantom earthquake, where you a day or so later will feel the sensation of an earthquake, and you may even turn and ask a friend or a colleague, is there an earthquake happening? But actually it's just you're having those sensations again, like you were on a bit of a very soft roller coaster ride, if you like, and you can just feel the earth swaying, even though there's no earthquake happening. A couple of times I've been caught by that and actually checked on the internet to see if there were any earthquakes in the area, and there weren't. So you just kind of feel that motion of an earthquake again, even though there isn't one. It's a very, very odd phenomena that we sometimes feel. A couple of people at work have talked about that, and it is a strange sensation to have. But this area in particular gets a lot of earthquakes, so perhaps we get a lot of practice, and it's a bit more at the forefront of our minds, so that we often feel the earth is kind of teasing us in some ways, and really hopefully it doesn't happen, but maybe one day it might have a similar strong earthquake that will kind of shake us and remind us how powerful the earth is and how lucky we are just to be around every day without these earthquakes going on. You can see when you look through the TV channels in Japan, you can see coverage usually on every channel, whereas usually there'd be late night talk shows, and there would be variety TV programs and news programs, but this would just be wall-to-wall coverage on every channel, because obviously ensuring that the residents are aware of what's happening is the number one priority. So alarms ring, and people will go around the streets warning people about the tsunami coming, and the checking that everybody's okay from the earthquake. And then once everything has settled down, they will resume to their normal programming. Probably about 1 o'clock, something like that. By the looks of it, you can just see there on my large screen TV. So these waves here, they should be striking first at about 11:50, with the wave following down the coast here to Ishinomaki, which is in Ishinomaki is actually in Tohoku, not too far from where I am. And then here from about 20 past 12, rolling all the way through until about 1 a.m. From the map of Japan down here, you can see this red part here indicates the higher wave areas, so about 3 meters on the red parts, and still about a meter further down here in the Tohoku region there, close to Sendai, one of the big cities that was struck by the tsunami of 2011. But this will go all the way up to the most northern easterly tip of Hokkaido, this island at the top here, and affect a lot of the Honshu island. Obviously Tokyo being down here, Tokyo is completely safe. Nagoya, Nara, Kyoto, Osaka, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, so all of these big famous cities that you'll probably have heard about in Japan, they're all going to be safe. It's mainly the 1 or 2 cities up in the north there, Aomori, Iwate City, and Sendai there. They're the ones that are going to be of most concern. Anybody who lives close to the rivers, you should be really careful, because obviously when the wave comes in, a surge will shoot up the river and burst over the banks usually, and maybe even take out 1 or 2 of the bridges, as the power of that water encroaching on the land. When the land gets shallower, the wave rises up, and then they tend to funnel down these rivers, which usually have pretty soft mellow banks there, so it's easy for them to burst over the sides. Just watching the live camera feed there to see if they can get any CCTV footage, even though it's nighttime. They want to see if they can get any CCTV footage of action and activity in the cities and anybody running away. I hope what I was just looking at there, that isn't any indication of fires or anything. One of the big sorry, just get my pointer right. One of the big problems with Japan is that there's a lot of what they call konmos, or stovetop gas cookers in Japan. And when something happens like this, one of the biggest dangers in an earthquake is that those stovetops in people's houses, particularly the older ones, can catch fire and cause a lot of the houses that are, of course, very closely packed together and made of essentially paper and would catch fire and spread that fire very quickly. In about, I think it was 1996, the city of Kobe in the south of Japan had a very large earthquake, and a lot of people there unfortunately lost their lives. And it was not the actual earthquake or buildings falling on top of them so much as it was fire spreading throughout the city, because a lot of the gas cookers and the stoves they used to heat their homes toppled over and set light to their homes, which spread quickly as the houses are built on top of each other. So now they usually have a lot of systems to safely cut off the gas supply. If, for example, a stove is lifted off the floor, then a button will simply pop out from underneath it and cut the gas supply. But it's still not a complete system that can protect from those things. It really depends on the way that the house has been built. Looks like they have an English audio channel here that people on their remote controls, they can press a button which will allow you to listen into this. It will change the language. If I have a look on my remote, it's a little bit different our TV, so I'm not sure if we have that functionality with our remote. But audio language, the sub language. Oh, there we go. So now we have English. So as easy as a quick push on the button on my remote control there, gets us to listening to broadcast in English there. You can see it's 11:30 at night.
This is NHK World Japan's breaking news. We're coming to you live from our studios in Tokyo. As we have been reporting, a strong earthquake struck Japan's Tohoku region, and this has triggered a tsunami warning and a tsunami advisory. Following places are under tsunami warning: Aomori Prefecture, Aomori Prefecture's Pacific coast, the first wave may have already reached. Waves of up to 3 meters are expected to hit there. Just because the first wave may have reached doesn't mean there will be no more tsunamis. Rather, contrary, there will be second and third wave on the way, so you need to keep evacuating there if you're in Aomori Prefecture's Pacific coast. And Iwate Prefecture, the first wave may have already reached, but again, the same thing. If you are in Iwate, please keep evacuating until the officials have lifted the warning. And Hokkaido's Central Pacific coast is also under tsunami warning. The first wave is rapidly approaching there. The waves are on the way. And again, there, waves of up to 3 meters are expected. And remember, waves can hit the areas repeatedly, and second and third waves can be higher than the first one. So just because the graphics tells you that the first wave may have reached in Aomori's specific coast and Iwate Prefecture doesn't mean there will be no more. Again, if you are in those areas, you need to keep evacuating because there will be second and third and even more waves on the way. And a tsunami advisory is issued for the areas highlighted in yellow on the right-hand side map of your screen. Those are Hokkaido's East Pacific Coast, Hokkaido's West Pacific Coast, Aomori Prefecture.
So you can see them just saying there that perhaps the first wave has already struck there, but of course once that inundates the area with water, then further waves can do far more damage because the area has already become waterlogged. There's nowhere for the water to go. So if there are follow-up waves, that can massively increase the depth of the water and the speed and the power which it moves through. The actual images that they're showing on the TV there don't look to be too bad at the moment, fortunately. But 3 meters is quite a high amount, or quite a high depth of a wave to be coming in at. Can't see anything on the other channels. It looks like it's a pretty steady broadcast there. As you flick through, you can see some different coverage, but certainly everything looks pretty, from this point of view, pretty peaceful and calm. A few boats heading out to sea there. Obviously, as I said, when the wave approaches the land, the depth of the water becomes a lot shallower, so the water will rise up at that point and become the destructive wave that causes havoc. But a lot of the boats, if they have a crew that are quite close to shore, they will quickly jump in the boat once the tsunami warning has been given and try and take it out to sea and kind of beat that wave. If they can get out to sea, then it won't be such a problem. I don't know what that smoke is there on the port, but you can definitely see there a lot of boats quickly heading out to sea so that they can miss that wave coming in and hitting the coast, or subsequent waves from coming in and smashing the coastline there. I hope that's not fires on the coast. It is quite chilly tonight. I hope that's just smoke coming out from the port there, and the actual harbour is quite safe. That would obviously be perhaps the smoke is finishing there, so it might actually just be them starting up engines and heading out, or something else going on there. I'm not quite sure what that would be. Don't wish to guess or speculate on that, but yeah, it certainly doesn't look like a fire now. So maybe just steam on this cold night. It's funny when the reaction of these boats is to kind of break their moorings and get out as quickly as possible. I always wonder if somebody's charging down to the port side to jump on a boat and help it steer out to sea quickly. If they miss the boat leaving, what do they then do at that point? You can see somebody just on that ship there kind of throwing stuff off the back of the ship. Perhaps that's its moorings, trying to cast away quickly before the tsunami reaches land. It's always a wise move to take precautions, and even if you think the danger from the waves will have passed, it's worth pulling out and heading out to sea. Better to be safe than sorry. All right, guys, so we're coming up to about midnight now, so I guess that will probably do it for today. If you've found some of this information at all interesting, I'm sorry I can't do a better job at translating some of the Japanese for you there, but I'll certainly try and upload some more interesting videos as we go through. If you did find this at all interesting, then it would be absolutely super to get some subscribers and some likes, since this is my first ever video. We'll try to upload every couple of days, and I'll try to make something a little different and a little new to show some different sides of Japan. So unfortunately, tonight's activities weren't perhaps the best or the most positive aspects of Japan. However, we will certainly see what we can find. There's plenty of positives in this country and loads of amazing, interesting, incredible things for us to learn together on this journey. So if you have managed to see this pop up in an algorithm, then by all means, please do give it a subscribe, a thumbs up and a like. And hopefully I'll see you again real soon. Thank you so much.